Welcome, welcome. Welcome to tonight's live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me get me situated in here tonight. Make sure my hair is looking decent. I'm sitting up higher tonight. Hold on one second, y'all. I'll be right back.
Motion detected at your front door. Motion detected at your front door.
I am back. I did not have on one earring. So I had to go put my earrings on. Hello, hello, hello tonight, you all. Tonight we are going to. Oh, y'all heard my phone going off too with the alarm. Not the alarm, but the security cameras. Whew. I had to run upstairs and get my earrings. Okay, can we start out while I'm catching my breath? Let me know where you're from, where you're located, and if you are someone who is having issues with Frizz, or if you're a stylist who wants to understand what's going on with your client's hair and how to fix it. Because the thing is, frizz is inevitable, but it can be controlled. And I feel that if we learn how to control the frizz, we wouldn't see as many people walking around here with it. And if we understood what it came from, what causes it. So if you would, please put in the chat where you from. Frizz is your best friend. Cool. That's cool, Nita. That's cool. That's cool. A lot of people do like frizz. Some people don't like frizz and don't know how to fix it. And that's what I'm here for. Adrian, you're here? Okay, I'm going to put my email in the chat for those who may need to email me later, or my assistant later. Okay. Oh, you don't like it. It's just your best friend because you have it all the time. Okay, okay, let me know. Okay, okay. I wasn't understanding you there, girl. Okay. If you have followed me for a while or you've seen my work, uh, you may have noticed that I am a moisture girl. I absolutely loathe frizz. And over the years, I have learned how to tame it, how to keep it away for some time. Okay. Okay. And there's so many different things that cause frizz, or maybe the reason why we have frizz. And I'm just going to read off a few to you. And I will say before I get started that um, none of this is, well, most of this is not my opinion. I do a lot of research on hair because um, I have a lot of issues with certain types of hair in the salon. And my goal is to be a form of a doctor when it comes to my clients and their hair. I know that I'm not a physician, but as it relates to styling and issues of the hair, I want to be able to help my clients to the best of my ability. And for that reason, I do a lot of research. And I found that um, a few things can cause our frizz. And I'm just going to name a few. And if you are having issues with one or more of these things, just let me know in the chat. If you don't have any issues with any of these things, just say, I don't have any issues with that. I just came from a business trip in Chicago. I got home last night. Um, and I've been having a runny nose. Well, I keep a runny nose, if I'm honest. My sinuses are sometime acting up year round. But it was in the negatives in Chicago, and I'm still feeling it now that I'm back in Atlanta. But frizz is normally a major sign of dryness. That means that your hair is dry on the inside and the out. Your cuticle layer is just standing open because your hair is dry. So most of the time, when you see that your hair is dry, I mean, it's frizzy, I want you to think to yourself, when was the last time I moisturized my hair? And if I am moisturizing my hair, is it enough? Because most of the time, it's not. Several things can cause our hair to be dry. Hair color. Well, number one, our hair is naturally dry. Our scalps don't accumulate the sebum that most other races accumulate. Our hair just doesn't. Well, our kinky hair doesn't. If you're someone who has a wavy type or even straight type of hair as a Black person, you will more than likely get so much more sebum to collect onto your scalp and hair than the kinky or curlier girl. So our kinky hair plays a huge part in why our hair is so dry. Hair color can dry our hair out on top of that. And let's not even talk about the lighteners, the bleach that can also dry our hair out. Excessive heat, whether it's water or by a tool, can also dry our hair out. Welcome, welcome. Thank you all for coming in. Welcome, Cynthia. Um, what else? I have a number of things here. Products that contain alcohol. Why did I not think of that? Um, Majority of the mousses, gels, um, any type of product that claims to clump your curl, more than likely is some type of jelly or gel substance that has alcohol in it. What else? Towel blotting. Let me see what else I have here. But there's so many different things. It says genetics. Um, I got to look deep into that genetics because I still feel like even if it's something genetic, like that's just like high blood pressure in a family line. A lot of times that's derived from our bad eating habits, even way back to our ancestors. If our ancestors um, started a bad eating habit that has carried on over to the newest of generations, if that habit caused us to have high blood pressure, if the habit continues to flow down from generation to generation, then of course that high blood pressure is going to be rampant in all the other generations because of the bad habits that we just keep bringing over from generation to generation. But I got to do a little bit more research on that genetics portion. Improper hairstyling, hypothyroid, that can cause it. Um, so many different things, but the basics are just lack of moisture, heat, overwashing. I wasn't shocked to see that because I tell my clients all the time, overwashing can cause you to have super duper dry hair, which is one of the reasons why I can't stand that water bottle. And I think when people hear me say that I can't stand the water bottle, they're just like, oh, well, all naturals need water bottles. All natural hair needs water. Yes, it does. But if you're not following up with a great degree of cream moisturizer after you're spraying that water bottle, your hair is just going to be dry as a whistle. So I want to talk about styling methods and ways that we can improve on preventing excessive frizz, because frizz is inevitable, but it can be controlled. So trying to see how many people we got in here. Okay. So, MR is from Barbados. Okay. Good to have you here with us tonight. Um, so one reason why I use the lock method is because I can't stand a frizzy hairstyle. To me, frizzy hairstyles look like they are worn. Frizz ages your style. Frizz puts a short time span on your hairstyle. For me, at least, if my hairstyle starts to frizz, now with my locks is different. But when I was a loose natural wearing my hairstyle, because I started styling my hair first, um, once my hair started to frizz, that would be my sign that, okay, in a few days I need to take this out. Or even tomorrow, I'm going to take this down. So I couldn't fathom styling my hair and on day one I have excessive frizz. Or I'm walking out of the salon with excessive frizz. I couldn't even fathom that on day one or week one, I have all of this frizz. And I'm seeing it a lot lately, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, because in case you are someone who's styling your hair at home, your daughter's hair, your family member, your friend's hair, I just wanted to let you know that you don't have to have a frizzy hairstyle. And a lot of the ways to combat your frizz is to stop blow drying your hair. And I know that some people want to believe that they can't style their hair damp, but you can. If you take your time, you can. I think I have hard water that contributes to the frizz. Excuse me. And you may, Adrian, but even in that, after you shampoo and condition your hair with that hard water, you should be able to then go to your lock method, your leave-in, your oil, and your cream moisturize, and moisturize that hair enough to where those cuticles want to lay down and smooth that strand. Because when you see frizz, just think about 5 or 10, because I have both hands up. When your hair is dry, when your hair strand is dry, your cuticles are just standing up. It's just standing up. And then once you put moisture in that strand and on those cuticles, it closes the cuticle. Moisture closes your cuticle and has your cuticle smooth. And when your cuticle is smooth, that's when you see the shine. That's when you see the smooth, neat hairstyle, the shiny, moisture-filled hairstyle. When you see that, that means that moisture is not only on that hair, but it's inside that cuticle. And it has got inside that cuticle well enough for that cuticle to smooth down. But when you see frizz, that lets you know that that cuticle is not moisturized and is causing the cuticles to stand up like this. And you want that cuticle to lay down. You want that cuticle to smooth down with that moisture. But as long as you're just using oil and water, and or maybe a light leave-in, that cuticle is going to gap up. And the thing is, it may start out when you spray water or leave-in on your kinky hair, it will lay that cuticle down temporarily. And I do mean temporarily, because it's not enough moisture to withhold the strand. So as soon as the elements evaporate that little thin leave-in or that H2O water already is a hydrogen and air. So as soon as the elements evaporate the water, evaporate your leave-in, now you've got oily, dry hair. So you have hair that looks just as oily as it can be, but it's frizzy. And it's frizzy because it's oily and dry. So even if you're using hard water, river water, lake water, any kind of water, all water is going to leave your cuticles gapped open if you don't put any moisture in after it. So you can use the healthiest of waters and shampoo and condition your hair, but if you don't follow up with a good moisturizer, you're going to get that same frizz. Now, it may not be as easy to tame with using hard water, but all water will give you most of the time the same results or very similar results. So my goal is to make people understand that brushing causes your hair to frizz. Over manipulating your hair causes your hair to frizz. So many things that we do on a daily basis are what causes frizz, and it ages your style. And it causes you to have to do your hair over and over again. And if you're doing the same practices over and over again, you're still going to get that same frizz over and over again. So I want to know from you all, what do you plan to do in the future to eliminate your frizz? Or what are you having issues understanding of why you need to stop doing certain things that you're doing to combat your frizz? And excuse me for the sniffing, because it's getting on my nerve. But what do you think you need to do different to get rid of your frizz? I need to stop shampooing as much. Yes. I feel like most naturals should only shampoo their hair no more than twice a month. If you're shampooing more than twice a month, it's excessive. Because if you weren't here with me on one of my previous lives, I gave the illustration for weekly shampoos. If you shampoo your hair weekly, um, it takes our hair about 2 or 3 days to start feeling normal again after your shampoo. So if you shampoo on a Sunday, chances are your hair is not going to start feeling moisturized like it should until maybe Tuesday or even Wednesday sometimes. So if you're shampooing every Sunday, then you're only allowing your hair 4 days to hold on to that moisture that it needs. And then you start it all over again. And that's not good practice if your hair is very dry and you're trying to teach it to retain the moisture. By brushing, do you mean bristle brushes? Or is it any brush, including plastic brushes? All brushes. All brushes create frizz, cause frizz. Weekly, Robin. Oh my God. No, why are you shampooing weekly? I need to establish a good LOC method. Yes, you do, Adrian. And What determines what your lock method is going to be is your hair history. If you've had any heat in the last year, and when I say heat, I mean blow drying, flat ironing, color, whether it just be regular, um, traditional permanent color, or lightener, bleach, and or if it's a store brand box color, not store brand, but a store box color. All of that matters. So once we determine what your hair history is, what your typical regimen is, then we would decide, okay, you need to take this away, you need to add this, or everything you're doing is good. So in addition to that, we'll add this. So your history and your typical regimen plays a huge part. What about the blow drying brushes? All type blow drying, number one. Blow drying is a key way to have frizz because you're blow drying your hair. You're drying that hair out. And a lot of times, depending on if we're trying to get that hair to stretch or straighten, you're not only drying the outside, you're drying the inner hair also, and that's called flash drying. So most of the time, people who have excessively dry hair, very brittle, hard hair, if they blow dry a lot, they typically have an issue called flash drying. I will shampoo once a month or every 3 weeks. Okay, that's good. So what were you saying about yes, we oh, you're saying in the future you're gonna do that. Okay. That's good. Um, I didn't want product buildup. I was misinformed by a stylist. Now, I've been in the hair business ever since I went to cosmetology school at the age of 18. I was licensed before I was 20 years old. In all of my years, and now I'm in my 50s, and I'm a mother and a grandmother. And I have I have never known a way that you can blow dry your hair and not have frizz. Never, ever, ever. Blow drying has always been the number one way to have cause frizz and build up. In order for us to have build up, you have to be using really you have to use products that have petroleum in it, some type of gel, wax, or something heavy. So if you're not using a lot of waxes, a lot of gels, jellies, uh, grease, if you're not using products like that, then you're not going to get buildup. Our hair is so dry, it's rare to get buildup with the lock method. I won't say it's impossible because I can't say that, but I do know that it's very rare to have product buildup with the lock method. If you're using a real good lock method, you're not going to get product buildup. But if you're using grease, if you're using gels, jellies, wax, all that good stuff, yeah, you're going to get product buildup. But that's not something you have to worry about if you're just using a spray leave-in or even a cream leave-in, um, a light oil, a really good cream moisturizer. Those products are not going to give you buildup. They're just not. So, yes, minimize your shampooing if you're shampooing weekly. I don't feel like there is no kinky girl, and I mean kinky hair girl, on this planet that needs to shampoo weekly unless they have some type of dandruff issue. If they have a dermal, um, seborrheic dermatitis, something like that, if they have issues with flaky scalp, okay. And I will still try to stretch it out maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks still, because even though you may have some type of dermatitis, your hair still needs to be moisturized. So there needs to be a way to try to tend to them both simultaneously. So in my mind, after doing much research, and I'm going back to my research, um, in everything that I saw, with the exception of the hypothyroidism, the medical issues. Now, the medical issues have to be tended to, and you need to be up under medical care, a physician's care to have that looked at. But even in that, there should be a way to keep your hair moisturized enough to maintain the health of it, even in with having those type of medical issues. Because as I'm looking at my list here, towel drying could be eliminated. I use towels in my salon. But when I bring my clients from the shampoo bowl, well, when their hair is done with their shampoo and conditioning, I don't I don't just drape the towel over the hair and rub all down the hair. I wrap their head with the towel and I blot with my hands and then I send them to the chair. I don't rub the towel over their hair ever, but I do use towels. But even in that, I'm taking them to my style chair and I'm following up with my lock method. So that's another reason to let you know that even if you have a situation that can cause frizz, if you follow up with the lock method, you should be able to eliminate that frizz or minimize it greatly. Overwashing, yes. Harsh products, we talked about that. The color, relaxers, um, anything that clarifiers, clarifying shampoos, all of that can cause frizz. Humidity can cause frizz. And we know that when we go outside um, on a steamy hot day, or on an evening or a day after rain, our hair freezes up because of the moisture that's in the air. But there's so many things, very hot water when you're shampooing. So many things that we do can cause frizz, and most of it can be eliminated. Most of it can. Yeah, I'm not understanding that genetics. I feel like it still can be tamed. It still can be tamed. So for me, I teach my people when my people take my moisture class, I show them from beginning to end, just like I did on the video that on the live that I did last week with a client. Um, I make it a point to thoroughly detangle the hair throughout every process, shampoo, conditioning, and my detangling method once I get them back to the style chair. Detangle the hair properly, moisturize the hair properly, style the hair properly. And if you do that, you should be fine. What about hair rinses? Hair rinses shouldn't give you any issues because a lot of it's not a harsh product. But I will say I don't recommend rinses for naturals, especially my kinky curly naturals, because our hair needs moisture. And semis and demis are not permanent hair colors. Well, demi is will stay on the hair longer than a semi, but a semi rinse is going to wash away. So if you're moisturizing your hair like you should, that that hair rinse is going to dull out quickly because it's having moisture put on it every day. And if it's a rinse, it will rinse out not only with a shampoo or conditioner, but it will rinse out with any type of moisture that touches that rinse. So for that reason, I don't see the benefits of having the rinse, especially if you're covering gray. If you're covering gray with a rinse and you're a kinky curly natural, there's no way that rinse is going to stay on that hair if you're moisturizing your hair properly. In the moisture class, do you identify the products you like? Yes, ma'am. Absolutely, Adrian. Yes. Did you say very hot water when washing hair causes it? Yes. Yes. If you shampoo your hair with very hot water, it's going to cause frizz. Yes. Any type of heat. excessive heat, water, curling iron, blow dryer, it all causes frizz. And all frizz is, and this is why when you get heat damage and or chemical damage from color, your hair goes from medium or normal porosity to high porosity, because that the chemical in the bleach and the heat of your hair dryer and or flat iron causes your hair, your cuticles to gap open. And when your cuticles are open like this, you can't hold on to the moisture because the cuticles don't close. The cuticles closing allows your hair strand to hold on to the moisture that you put on the hair. But if if the cuticle is left open, the product you're putting on the hair will just slide out because the cuticles aren't closing. So it's the same with chemical damage. It's the same with heat damage. The only difference is with frizz, it can be combated. You can apply the moisture and close that cuticle if it's just frizz. If it's heat damage and or chemical damage, the cuticles are open permanently. If it's frizz from dryness or lack of moisture, all you have to do is just put the moisture back in, and the cuticles will close, and you will eliminate the frizz. Okay, I have gray and I want some color. Well, I always recommend having a permanent color, Cynthia. If you're gray and you don't want to be gray, as you can see, I'm gray. But I'm taking a break from color because after so long, I feel like it's best to take a break. But I'm a high lift blonde too, so that makes a difference. But if you just want to be a brown or a black, by all means, use a permanent color, but just use a good permanent color. Don't go to the store and buy a color off of the shelf. Go to a salon and get a professional color done. And that way you can still moisturize your hair as needed, because if it's permanent, it's not going to rinse out with your moisturizer. Yes. So if you don't want to go to a salon, then go to a Sally's or a beauty supply and get you a really good color. I don't name brands on public forums because I feel like color should be only done by professionals. But if you don't want to go to a professional, there are colors that are decent enough for you to purchase from a beauty supply like Sally's and or what are other beauty supply stores you can go to? Because Salon Centric, you have to be licensed. But I'm sure there are several stores outside of Walmart, Target, and all that sell professional colors that you can get. But I'm sure you can go to Sally's and get a professional color and color your hair. I'm sorry, I hate them wiping my nose. I can't ever do right on live. What is it? What is it? Okay, do y'all have any questions? Any questions? But every time I see a frizzy new hairstyle, it just ruffles my feathers, because I'm like, why did they blow dry the hair? Especially if her hair is already coarse, if she's already having issues retaining moisture, the last thing you want to do is blow dry that hair. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you so much. Can I get some hearts, y'all? Can I see a few hearts going up? Thank you. Thank you. But I feel like there's so much on social media as it relates to styling, and no one ever talks about the health of our hair. So that's why I started to have these live, because we see styles, but we don't see the consequences that a lot of those styles have. And a lot of the times Many people, like you'll see one of your favorite people on social media, and they may have shoulder length hair, and you see them again months down the line, and now it's right here. And they'll give you a story about just wanting to start over or just want to do something different. But most of the time, it's from damage, especially if there's someone who blow dries their hair a lot, if there's someone who colors their hair a lot, um, just if there's someone that continually does things uh, to their hair that may not be beneficial. Instead of styling damp, do you have thoughts on styling in dry hair and then adding moisture daily? Um, well, when you say styling hair dry, are you meaning blow dry? Because um, I see that method too. I've seen people blow dry the hair, then apply mousse to the hair and style the hair, then sit up on the dryer and that's just too much drying. It's too much drying, and over time you're going to have to cut that hair off. You may not have to cut it all the way off, but you're going to be doing a lot of trims if you're continually blow drying your hair, because the thing is, over time, because you're blow drying that same hair month after month or every other month, you're going to get heat damage. Heat damage creates high porosity hair. High porosity hair does not hold moisture well. So, dry hair causes breakage. Dry hair causes split ends. Dry hair causes thinning. So over time, you're going to see a difference in your density. You're going to see a difference in your texture, and you're going to see a difference in those ends. And then you'll start trimming the ends because the ends will be all raggedy and brittle and dry. You'll start trimming the ends, but then you'll continue those same bad habits. So then what will happen is you'll end up having to get a trim every month, every other month, once a quarter. And by doing so, you're never retaining length. You're not retaining length, nor are you retaining moisture because of the bad habits. Um, how can you tell the difference between your hair being soft compared to moisturized? That's a good question, Robin. Um, you can have soft, dry hair. You can have soft, dry hair. The thing is, moisturized hair shouldn't feel wet. It should just feel like it should feel moisturized. And that's kind of hard to explain over a live. That is something, if you're trying to compare the two, that is something that you need to compare in person so that I could show you, like, half on one half of the head it's soft but it's dry, and on another side is soft and moisturized, because there is a such thing as soft dry hair. But I would tell you, soft dry hair isn't as prone to breakage as just regular brittle dry hair, because soft dry hair, it has to be soft from something. So it's either soft from a leave-in conditioner, or it's soft from some product that you've added to your hair that has caused the hair to be soft. Especially if it's kinky hair, kinky curly hair. If it's soft and dry, it's soft because of something that you've applied to the hair previously. And it could still need moisture because over time that product has gone away. How do you feel about steamers? Rick Bob 17. Um, it depends. If you're using a steamer and following up with the lock method, I think they're great. If you're using a steamer and then you blow drying your hair afterwards, I think it defeats the purpose. But that's just me as a natural hairstylist. Yeah, Adrian, I don't think blow drying your hair and styling is a good idea at all. Oh, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, I think blow drying your hair over time will cause damage. I believe I need a thicker hair moisturizer. Most of us need a thicker more. I found that whenever I have a new client that comes in and their hair is severely damaged or severely broken or have some type of heat damage, and they tell me that they if I ask how often do you moisturize, and they'll say, well, every time I style my hair, or once a week. And then I'm feeling the hair, because as I'm talking to my new clients, I'm feeling the hair. I'm going through their hair, looking at the scalp, their edges, everything. And I'm thinking, I'm feeling, because I feel, I try not to look at the hair when I have a new client. I feel and see with my fingers. And I'm feeling this hair, and I'm thinking, this hair is not getting moisture. So I'll say, well, what type of moisturizer are you using? And 95% of the time, they're going to say leave in. And if you are a type 4 kinky natural, 4B, 4C, your hair is laughing at a leave in, whether it's a cream leave in or a spray leave in. Your hair is laughing at that leave in every time you put it in your hair and you think you're doing something, because it may be moisturized for the first 30 minutes to an hour, even if that. And after that, if you've also applied an oil with it, you're just going to have oily hair, and the moisturizer will have evaporated away because it's not strong enough. It's not thick enough, heavy enough. And because it's heavy, it doesn't imply that it's going to give you buildup, because it's a cream moisturizer. It's not a petroleum based. It's not heavily oil based. It's a product that will evaporate in time. It's just a longer wear cream moisturizer. Oh, I got to sneeze. Excuse me, y'all. I pray that I'm not coming down with something. I pray that I'm not coming down with anything. Um, you're currently using Eden Body Works. Okay. Okay. I never, ever, ever talk about brands on a public forum. Ever, ever. And the reason, I have several reasons. The first reason is they are not paying me. So I'm not going to recommend any brand. I'm not going to even talk bad about any brand, because it's not fair to them as a business. I'm never going to talk bad about a brand on a public forum, and I'm never going to recommend one. Now, if they come to me with a nice deal, then I will scream their name from the highest of mountains. But until then, I am closed mouthed on any brand. Is it okay to deep condition every wash day? You wouldn't have to do that if you apply your. One thing about our hair is it remembers. Our hair remembers the good and it remembers the bad. If you're good to your hair, if you're giving your hair everything it needs, it's going to retain that moisture and continue to retain it as long as you're giving it to it. If you're doing anything bad to your hair, it's going to remember it, and it's going to show you that it's remembering it by breaking, by losing its elasticity, by thinning, by creating the split ends. That is your hair telling you, okay, you did this to me last time, and now you've broken me down to a point where now I want to split, I want to thin, I want to break. So remember that your hair remembers the good as well as the bad. So if you're moisturizing your hair as you should, when you shampoo and condition your hair, it's going to still feel soft and supple. It's not going to feel dry and brittle and hard if your hair is retaining the moisture like it should. If you're pouring in the moisture like you should pour it in, it's going to start holding on to it. Even with your shampoo and conditioner, you will feel that your hair feels like it's holding on to something good and not dirt. So you can deep condition with every wash, but if you're moisturizing like you should, you wouldn't have to. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you. The hair, yes, the hair remembers. You might be onto something, Adrian. You might be onto something. Because as long as it's the same hair, I don't care if the hair on your head is a year old or 50 years old. It remembers everything that you've done to it throughout all those years. So you have to keep that in mind. That's why I tell people it doesn't matter if you flat iron once a year or 10 times a year. Because if I flat iron my hair today on January the 22nd, and if I flat iron it and I put a little bit too much heat on it, but I don't get a full head of heat damage, I can wear my hair the rest of the year doing things that aren't as bad. And then next year, January 22nd, flat iron it again. If it's that same hair and it still have a lot of those same issues that it derived today, then it'll be in even worse condition next year because of what I did today. So you have to think about that. Since the hair remembers, doesn't that mean it's important for us not to switch using products too often? No. If 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 I use 3 different products this year and they're all good products, that's not going to hurt my hair. But now if I use 3 bad things, that's going to hurt my hair. Remember, the good remembers the good and the bad remembers the bad. As long as the products that you're using are all good, it can be 10 different products, but 10 good different products, and your hair will be fine. But if you're using bad products, then yes, that will be harmful. Because the hair doesn't know what the brand of the product. The hair just knows good ingredients. The hair knows what it like. Our hair doesn't like petroleum. Our hair doesn't like the waxes. There are so many different chemicals that are put into products that our hair doesn't like as well, which is why you see a lot of products that say paraben free, sulfate free, because our hair doesn't like those chemicals. But if you're using good products that are made with good ingredients, then that's fine. They can all be different brands, but if they're good products, it's fine. Any other questions? But yes, the hair remembers. Any other questions? How long have we been on here? Oh, we've been on here almost an hour. Maybe we can do an hour tonight and be done. Because these lives don't have to be long unless there's some information that you all just need to get that I can share. But if you have kinky hair, the thing is, if your hair isn't used to being moisturized, initially, once you change your regimen and now you're focused on maintaining or retaining moisture, then initially you're going to have to moisturize your hair a lot because your hair is going to have to get used to having this good thing done to it. So you may start out with 2-strand twist. And I'll say, style your hair with your lock method, and then every other day add moisture. And you'll do that for a week, 2 weeks, and then after a while, you'll feel your hair and you'll feel, okay, I don't need to do it today because it is now holding on to that moisture. Doesn't mean that your hair is dripping or sticky or just getting all over the place. No, it just means that you're feeling your hair and it feels full. It feels like something is in it. It's not making noise when you rub in it. It's not feeling wiry or brittle. So over time, you'll have to moisturize your hair less and less because it'll start holding on to it. When is my moisture class? I haven't set a date yet. It will more than likely be in the next month. I'm really not sure of the date. I'll have to plan that, but it's coming up soon. And in this moisture class, you will be virtual in the salon with me. And it'll be a lot like the video or the live that I did in the salon last week. But the difference will be that I'm stopping, I'm asking questions, I'm telling you everything that I'm using, I'm telling you why I don't use other things, and I'll tell you the benefits of using what I use and the consequences of using what other people use. And then when you have questions about what to add to yours, I can tell you what to add. Um, in the event that I'm clear on what your hair history is and so forth. It's so very well detailed versus you just shadowing me or watching me online. Are there any other questions? Also, when I style my clients, um, typically my clients they come in fairly detangled, but with every one of my clients, they sit in my chair, I finger detangle, go through their scalp, I look at their scalp, I look at their hair, look at the perimeter of the hairline, um, drape them, take them to the shampoo bowl. When your day, when your day add moisture is that an oil? Oil is not a moisturizer. Oil is not a moisturizer. Oil is not a moisturizer. Shea butter is not a moisturizer. Um, Waxes, gels, curling custards, mousse. None of those are moisturizers. I bring my clients back to the back to the style chair after I've shampooed and conditioned their hair. I start my lock method, detangle, section the hair off, and style. They're styled with their hair damp. I put them up under the hooded blow dryer. Hooded blow dryers do not cause heat damage. The circles in the hood allow for the air to move in a circular motion, and that prevents the air from going directly onto your hair. I know it feels like it's blowing directly on your hair, but in fact, it's going in a circular motion. And they sit up under the dryer from 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the texture of the hair and the style of the hair. They get from up on the dryer. I finish their style, and then they walk out of the door. And every one of my clients leave with shiny, smooth, beautiful hairstyles, no matter if their hair is a 4F or a 3A. I don't care how kinky the texture. I don't care how coarse the texture. They're gonna leave out sometime even prettier. I won't even say sometime. Most of my type 4 clients have prettier hair than my curly girls. Their styles are prettier because the hair is more dense. It's kinkier, it's coarse, so the hair is full and the definition is grand. So most of my type 4 girls, their styles are always prettier than the type 3 girls. When you say add moisture, what are you adding to remoisturize? Your cream moisturizer. It's going to either be a hair milk, hair lotion, or a hair cream in a jar. You're going to use that and your oil. Do you think you will sell your moisturizer this year? I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. I'm hoping. I'm hoping I will. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Are there any other questions? I want to thank everyone for coming on tonight and being with me. My goal is to help as many of us as possible because the hairstyles are a plus. We are beautiful people and we can wear the heck out of some hairstyles. Um, there's so much beautiful um, creation. There's so many beautiful creations on the web, but there's not enough talk about the health of our hair. And so many of us still have no clue of what to do with our hair. And that's a lot of the reasons why we're hiding it up under braids, hiding it under wigs. We're straightening it and doing everything on the earth to it rather than wearing it in its natural state. And it's because a lot of times we're scared of it. We don't know where to start. We're intimidated. We're terrified of what it's going to look like the next morning. But if we learned our hair, learned how to care for our hair, learn to embrace it in its authenticity, then we will be more in tune to love it and wear it. So I feel like the more I talk about it, the more I share with you ways to take care of it, ways to keep it supple and pretty, then y'all will be more in tune to wear it. More in tune to wear it. So if there are no more questions, then we're going to get out of here in less than an hour. It's 55 minutes in. So I implore you all to try to blow dry less, moisturize more, be more intentional about caring for your hair and not covering it up, and just embrace how it's made, because your hair is beautiful. I feel like a lot of the issues we have with um, the different types of alopecias, the thinning, um, the breakage, the split ends, all of that can be combated if we pay more attention to our hair and moisturized it more. Because our natural hair hates to be dry. And after so long, it will show you how bad it hates it, because it's going to start breaking. It's going to start shedding. You're going to have split ends like crazy throughout the shaft of the hair because it's dry. Our kinky hair is very, very sensitive. So very sensitive, so easily to break, so easily thinned out if it's dry too long, if we're doing things to um, bruise the shaft, wearing harsh hairstyles, using harsh colors, being very rough on the hair when you're styling it. The easiest of things can break our hair. So if we're more intentional about caring for it, loving on it, um, and giving it the patience and care that it needs, our hair will do great. So if there are no more questions, we're going to get out of here. I thank you all for being with me tonight. Bye.